Hello, hi Tiasha.
Hi.
Good. It's such a great moment and a great day and a great time to see you again. How's it
Yeah,
been?
likewise. Oh, I'm
Perfect,
fabulous. A little bit
perfect.
frozen, but it's
Good.
okay. We can
It's so
manage.
cold over here too. It's so cold at the moment. We was actually expecting snow in my city, but it didn't snow. But it's so fucking cold. Believe it. You can only
Oh,
imagine. You can only imagine. Anyway, thank you for coming back. Thank you for I'm thanking you. But one thing I will tell you today, I'm not gonna wish you happy new year again. So don't worry about that. I know I know we can do it. I know we can do it. We can extend our greetings until the end of January. I agree with them as well, but tonight we are not doing it. So
all
happy new
right.
year, no happy new year. It's okay. Don't worry yourself. Good, good. Are you ready for the topic today?
I am. I
How do
am.
you feel about it?
I hope I with the video that I made, I encouraged more women to come and join us and speak about it.
I hope so.
So I'm
Let's
I'm
let's
I'm 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 hopeful. Like I'm hopeful
let's
every episode, to be honest, but this one is just a little bit, maybe because it's more personal.
yeah.
um, I'm hopeful a little bit more. But how do I feel about it? I'm ready. It's
Perfect.
a topic that we really need to talk about. And it's not just because of, oh my God, this and this is happening, but because I feel like men,
Mhm.
especially, need to hear that perspective as well. You know, that in this case, it's not just black and white, but it's a lot more involved into that. And at the same time, I also want to remind those women that went through that years ago to stop, forgetting about how it was, because I also feel that they put a little bit of pressure. Oh, you can do it. In my days when it was, this also needs to stop because it puts a lot of uneasy feelings aside from whatever is
Yeah.
happening.
Good. Good. I hope that they accept, receive, and accept that message very well because at times when that's why but it was also a problem for me in the past. Whenever anybody talked to me about his or her situation, I tend to see myself trying to give my 2 cents. I had to
Hmm.
learn the hard way that at times some people just want to be able to express themselves, not that they
Yeah.
are asking for an advice necessarily. So it's something that most
And
of us were unable to do.
exactly. But even in this case, if I just may chip in with that, even if you are looking for advice, I feel like there is a lot of people who forget that they were once going through those things and how they felt and what they needed to hear as an advice, rather than just going from where they are now in life.
Hmm.
um
That is,
like for example, when you go to elder people and all of that and you ask them for something, you tend to get a lot of feedbacks from either the times, because if from financial point of view, times have changed. From the
yes,
societal point of view, the time have changed. Even
that
from
is a
the
given.
partnership perspective, the time has changed. But the feelings of how the woman felt when being put into the dilemma we're gonna be talking about today hasn't changed, because we all have that, dilemmas that we are facing. So rather than going about their time, I would rather hear advice based on the feelings that they had at that particular moment. So
That's so true.
yeah, this
I,
is what, how I see that. I feel like oftentimes they just either think from the time they are now, present moment, being that, maybe you're retired, or so to speak, have grown children, don't need to think about that, although if you are still in a working diaspora, right?
mhm.
uh, and they give you advice based on that. or they go to the extreme of their times back in the day, even if it was 30 years ago, because
Yeah.
it changes every decade is different, and they give you advice based on that, not based on the feelings or that true meaning behind it. Yeah.
I'm so happy that you give this, I mean, you explain, or rather espouse this thought of yours in this instant, even before we start the show, because I also believe this thing affect a lot of young people a lot, in the
Hmm.
sense that we oftentimes belittle their experience, underestimate, or not give credence to their experience as it should be.
Hmm.
We hardly give credit when they do something amazing, and we always tend to tell them that, look, in our time it was this, it was that, and it was that. But
Hmm.
mind you, these young people are facing challenges that are way, way different from what our time was. Even during
Yeah.
our time, we had to study with, maybe we had to go to school with the society that we live in then, maybe had less amenities like it is today. But even with the amenities, the infrastructure and everything we have today, the young ones we have are facing a different world entirely, completely, from what their children or the generation after them will be facing in the future. And
Exactly.
I relate, I see sense and reasons to what you are saying a lot, because is the is the default setting in almost every generation before us, to always want to
Hmm.
tell the other one how they should
But
live their life.
what is more hurtful in this game? Hurtful. Okay, I'm gonna keep with that, stuck to that word. But it's just like, um, the sisterhood.
Yeah.
This is where my problem comes in. Because if we are talking about this sisterhood and feminism in this modern time, and even in if we go 30 years ago, then women should uplift women. And sometimes advice is just like, listen, I might not be the right person because I lived in this and this era when things were like this, like that, or like I'm
Hmm.
at this space of my life that you know I do not know how to advise you, but just turn me in right direction, because this is something that is needed. And I consider myself somewhere in a middle age, fine, but I'm not old, I'm not young. I'm the generation that basically saw it all, like, developing, evolving, however you want to call it. And I know that it has changed and I understand it. But it's just like, just turn me in the right direction. I don't know, say, listen, if you don't know, have you tried this? I know there is this out there. Or like, go and talk to this person because they're there to help you out, Because sometimes, even though you might know, you maybe lose the trust in the system to this extent that you are like, no, fuck it, I'm just not gonna do it because I don't know if they are doing it for the good of me. You know what I mean? It's just those little things. And especially how our brain works as ladies, I really need to, highlight those things because you men might, take it. And this is not like, generalizing it or anything like that. I'm just saying how deep of a thinkers we are and how we process things and how we
So
plan
true.
everything and how emotional we are. And, sometimes very irrational. Those things are very, very important. This is
You're
why
right.
I said what I said. Yeah.
You are right. To add to that, I must admit to you, or to anyone, or to our dear listeners, that, look, I genuinely believe that women are incredible creatures. Why do I say this? Is this, with the way they think, the way they process things and everything, it baffles me. It's actually a great surprise and a shock to me that they live longer than men. I have no explanation for it, for that longevity. Seriously, I don't know even three men that can think the way just a single woman thinks.
Okay, I'm just gonna put it out there to
The
boost
rush
my
and everything,
ego.
the multitasking and everything. I always
I
do one
know,
thing
but
at a time. Like,
I
Really?
know you men cannot do it, but let me tell you, right?
So what's the
Scientists have
secret? Tell
said
us today. Tell the man.
it's
Tell the
not a
man.
secret. It's not a secret because you can't help yourself. This is how you were born. So they
Yeah.
say that men brain is bigger than women brain,
Yes.
but it contains the same amount of cells. So that should tell you all. Like we have a smaller area that contains the same amount of cells as you have in your bigger area. So sorry, that's just to boost my ego and our fellow women listeners, and let us feel good today.
Great, great. After all, today is your day, and like every other woman out there, today is your day, and we are really having this discussion because we know that is something that affects a lot of women around the world, and
Yeah,
especially in a day at time where almost everyone is invoked today for you to hear people talk about equality, diversity, and inclusion. I mean,
D D
DEI.
D D D D.
Diversity,
Everything is D.
diversity, equity, and inclusion. Which is
Yeah.
which is a very nice idea in theory. But I, for one, generally believe that equality does not lead to. In my opinion, I don't think equality is the best form or approach to most things in life. In some area, it is understandable, it is needed, but in it depends on how we are really conceptualizing the idea of what we believe genuine equality is all about. And for that reason, especially in line with our discussion tonight, I find it difficult at times to even maintain a civil discussion with others when it comes to topics like this. And my reason is this: we tend to genderize it, and it becomes
Hmm.
a war between men do this, women do this. Then the
Hmm.
objective, the reason behind the discussion, oftentimes is even forgotten, neglected, and nobody concentrate more on that anymore. But
Hmm.
we will do our best to remain on topic and be as neutral as possible and be objective, logical, whatever, however we want to qualify it, because it's a discussion that needs to be had. Why
Yeah.
does a woman in the 21st century, with the wealth we have in various society that we live in, with the infrastructure that we have, with the advancement in the medical field, the laws, and every other thing, why in this day and age a woman still has to make that conscious decision between choosing from pursuing his or her career or pursuing her family? What is it? What will you describe, or what will you pinpoint, Tiasha, to be that thing that we are missing in the society? And for the sake of our argument, I am being specific
Okay,
as a
first,
mother. What will you
yeah.
pinpoint to be the thing that is lacking? Because I believe we have a lot today to have make life more easy and livable for most of us, and especially women in this case.
Okay, first of all, I'm gonna bring the feminism part inside, because feminists back in the day, they were fighting for equality when it comes to working spaces and votes and all of that, right?
Okay.
And why I'm going, so it's not even 100 years ago, fine, but why am I going back? Is because when they were fighting, obviously I haven't lived in those times, so I might not really understand why the fight even started.
Mhm.
um, but with them fighting for this, our working rights, they also brought that pressure on us women alongside. Why I'm saying this is because, in those times, if a woman went to work with, the societal expectations, the cost of living, the
Mhm.
financial aspect, what it was offered, there was no craziness such as internet, social media, and I don't know, 7,000 too many of ministers for everything. You know what I mean? But if you look deeper in it, you understand what I'm saying. Like everything is so pressurized, everything is so divided, everything is just so superficial and everything. So the expectations now with this equality are also when it comes to our careers. Now, mind you, here it is, right? We live in a 21st century. The cost of living is the way it is. Obviously, it varies from the continent, country, whatever. I get that completely.
Yes.
But it's not, the system is not made now for really being um, homestay moms. Okay, for some of them who are fortunate enough, and their husbands maybe can have, like, I don't know, six-figure numbers per year or whatever. I completely get that part. And in that case, it might be easier for them, to go into that and having her stay at home. However, if you see then from a deeper perspective that, or you go a little bit further down the lifeline, a woman who is stay at home will not get a pension because she has basically no working experience, no working, was, let's say, career years that she's done paying taxes and all of that, which then backfires to you on old age as well. Mind you, a man is gonna be older as well, which means that he's gonna retire. You understand? How
Yes.
can it's like it's an ongoing cycle and it's a lot of pressure. Now you have kids that you need to school. There are some, I don't know, countries that maybe do not offer free education. That falls on parents. The food is more expensive, especially if you want to cook nutritious meals. We all been there. We all go grocery shopping, don't we? We know
Yes.
how the
Yes.
price has skyrocketed. Even such as
Absolutely.
like to pay, I don't know, a water bill, electricity bill. Those are costs and it's necessity.
A lot.
And it's yes, and I feel like, you said pinpointing. I think that the system is done wrong in this aspect. And I'm not saying, oh, women should work and have it all, or women should stay at home and have it all. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there will be some understanding when it comes to, especially and most importantly, when a family is present, when you have kids, because that's when the whole dynamic changes. There are school hours, there is, let's say, nurseries and stuff you have to pay.
Mhm.
Um, there is, I don't know, if you have packed lunches and stuff you need to prepare. It's a whole lot of things.
Yeah.
So yes,
The
if this is what
the
I would
reason,
pinpoint.
okay, a whole lot of things in the sense that things have
Yeah.
changed. Things have changed. And I think what was most important of all the things that you talk about, the reason why things remain the way they are today for women is the fact that if a woman in this day and age do not work, in their old age they may not have pension that they may need. And
Mhm,
looking at the way things are today, one may be married today. It is not a guarantee that you will be married in your old age,
mhm,
and the economic situation may be different. And
mhm,
I, for one, I actually believe that even for you to be able to live with the advancements that we have in the world today, you necessarily don't have to be married to be able to live your life as a human being. So
yeah.
we should have been able to organize our society that people get married because they love each other. They want to be able to be together, not necessarily because they want to be codependent on each other for
Right.
financial backing, which is
Mhm,
a fault of its own if we had to base marital relationship on economic terms alone, which is also
mhm,
one of the big problems that destroy marriage around the world today. That is one.
yeah.
So that to me is very, very important. That could be one of the reasons why most of the women around the world are working, because they want to be able to guarantee that their personal financial freedom in the future, which is very, very important. And there is
Yeah.
another thing. There is one thing, you made mention of feminism, and anytime they talk about issues like this, they often refer to women working. And I beg to differ on one particular point, which is this: women have always worked. Men and women have always worked even in prehistorical time, even in Stone Age time, when men were still living in the cave and everything, even with the simple example that they give to us, the men will go and hunt the beast, they will bring it home, then the women will be the one doing the cooking and everything, taking care of children and all. If you ask
Hmm.
me from that point of view, things have not changed ordinarily. We just change the name of things, or maybe our work now from industrial,
Perhaps,
from
yeah.
agricultural age to industrial age and now to information technology age and everything. The job system, the work that we do has changed. Because if you ask me, if we want to be honest, even more women, especially younger ones, if all the data and information coming up are really true with the way they say it, more women today are working than men, especially from 0 to 14, the younger ones, like they said. Okay, if that is true, why are they not able to form a family? Very many of them. Because you know the reason why I'm saying this, Yasha, is that I live in Italy, for instance, the birth rate is very, very low.
Hmm.
So even with all the quote and unquote support from the government, is the last thing that an average young Italian will be thinking of today to put forth a family, to be
I
in
don't
love,
blame them.
start raising children and everything. Because you made mention of the cost of living and everything. Because where I want to arrive to is this: even why, on one hand, the statistic is saying that more women are working, then one, or I for one, begs to ask the question then, if more women are working, they are more economically empowered and everything, which in my opinion would have been the dream of the feminist group, because we made, I'm using this as an example because we made mention of feminists earlier on. If more women are working and very few of them are having the courage to form a family and put forth children, what is the problem then? Why is there this great divide between family and career? Where, I'm
Um,
confused. I'm asking you, sorry that I'm asking you, but I'm asking you as a woman. So,
no, no, no. Don't be sorry for asking. If you want my perspective on the things, is like, first of all, I'm gonna say I don't blame them. Why?
okay. And why is
There is
that?
many there is few of the reasons why. First of all, I do not, and I can be crucified right now. I do not believe that women of a younger age, at least till 25, 30 nowadays, with the mentality they have, are
Mhm.
capable of raising a decent human being. One.
Okay.
Second thing that I see here is the fact that, okay, let me put it like that. From the young age, you are told, and this is something by default inside us: go
Mhm.
educate yourself. You understand? Aim high.
Yeah.
Even if you want to be a doctor, there is no way you're going to finish your studies by the age of 25. Most likely by the age of 30, you're going to become some type of a doctor, or like a specific branch lawyer, or some high, or dentist or gynecologist or whatever you want to be, that nowadays kind of a ease of those high standard jobs. Now,
Mhm.
yet alone, if you want to be an entrepreneur and develop something in your life by your own, or be the CEO of, I don't know, new established successful company and stuff like that. So let's go just from the beginning, right? Education, go, do it, strive for more. You understand? Advance, do this, do that. You reach the age of 25. There is a lot of women who will probably now, say, especially those that are of older age with the first child, that I'm wrong. But the there is an age bracket for a woman to be the healthiest to bear a child.
That is true.
They say they say that the most ideally and the healthiest, and even if we go psychologically, is from 25 to 30 to have a first child.
Yeah.
That we are doing the rough statistics now. We are not going
No,
into details.
no. scientific evidence supported geriatric pregnancy starts from 35. 35 and
Right.
above is already considered geriatric pregnancy. So
Right. So,
scientifically.
once a woman reaches, I'm going to first finish this and I'm going to go back then to education. So, when a woman reaches 30 years of age, that's
Mhm.
kind of, and she doesn't have children anymore, her biological clock is really ticking. And it's so fucking loud that you can hear it in your head. And if like this is not enough, then it's a pressure from the society, the pressure from perhaps your parents, pressure from the partner if you have one, and there is a pressure that is somewhere behind you, being that I came so far, I established this and that. Do I leave my career standing or do I abandon it? Can I, after having a child, even attend to this type of career with the same hours, same dedication, with everything that I was before? There is
Mhm.
so many things involved in that. Now, mind you, if you are career driven and you reach
Yeah.
your 30 years, is most likely that either you have a very, I don't know, career driven partner or you don't have a partner at all. At least not something that you would consider your future. Uh, you need another ambitious person. And if there is another ambitious person involved, there are two ambitious people. There are women who was gonna be thinking, okay, fine, I'm gonna sacrifice my career then, but I do have a husband now that is gonna be working around the clock. Am I capable of taking care of a child, basically, so to speak, on my own? Forget about
Mhm.
financial part. Is that emotional support, being there, having a child, having a father figure, basically present for a dinner time to sit down around the table and talk about your day, or I don't know, a father himself just showering a child, or read a story before a bedtime. It's so many things involved into this, and it's not easy, and I don't blame them, because I always say, if you are questioning just that part, whether you should choose the career or a family, then that alone is wrong already, because those women who are determined to have a family, they
Mhm.
are they are ready to leave that piece of themselves in a society, leave it there, bury it, and go find another piece, which is motherhood. Now, there are women who maybe dreamt about it, but got so career driven, or I don't know, just a new opportunity opening. And mind you, if a woman studied, didn't get a job, was doing sport, finally gets a job in her career field, you understand, some of the companies, they even give you, I don't know, and I don't know, I didn't check that. If somebody knows in the comments, or if you know, fill me in with that. But there are some companies that make you sign a contract that woman is not gonna get pregnant in the next 1 year or two.
I've heard stories, not stories, real life evidence of companies asking women not to get pregnant in the next 5 years. If it was one
Right.
year, I think nobody will even complain. I've heard stories
Right.
here in Italy where
And
they
I don't
have
know
to.
how legal it is. I don't know, because this is a contract and lawyers are involved with the company's contract. I don't know if this is like taking women's rights away. I am not sure. I really, this is the part I didn't research,
Good.
um, mostly because it might make me angry and I don't want to know that. But you see, there is another pressure, or like, I don't know, there is a promotion, at the end of the tunnel. You're like, okay, I just have this year and then I'm going to you. It's so many things, and a woman needs to think like, okay, when you are pregnant, the first, let's say, 8 months, if the pregnancy is well, you can still be in a working field. But then the last month before pregnancy, this is when your maternity starts, and you are not available, it depends on the country, for a certain amount of time. Now, in this time, many things can happen. If you just got a promotion, then you're going to be depromoted, most probably. If you just got a job, then maybe you're not going to have a job by the time you return. Or like, it's just so many of these things. So can you blame them for being today 30 and no children and perhaps not even a partner? You cannot. And in,
Absolutely.
like you
But it will be
mentioned,
difficult to blame
especially in
anyone in that situation. It will be
yes,
difficult to blame
I'll,
anyone in that situation.
and then if you go into our heads for a day and you see the analyzation that we do on a daily basis about every, it's even about the sock you just took from the washing machine. You understand? It's so many things. Like I don't know how our brain functions. I can tell you for myself, I'll lay in bed and I'll try to sleep, and then some switch goes on. This and that. Did I do that? I did that. Okay, the children, they need to eat this. It's so many, like instead of sleeping, because Manu is gonna fall asleep in 2 minutes. But we women, we just go and go and go and go. And yeah, I do not blame them. I do not. And I always say, if you are in that age bracket where you feel pressured and
Hmm.
you have even for a second a slight thought that mm, there is either that you wouldn't want to give up, then stay where you are, because even if you start questioning that part, I think that that's your answer alone. Yeah.
Thank you very much. There is something that I really what I pick out of your explanations was this particular aspect that struck me in the sense that you in your explanation it seems to me that having career, having money, I mean financial resources to be able to raise a family is alone is not enough. Here is your explanation, and this is the reason why it struck me. You said even if a woman, for instance, and her husband or partner happens to agree to have a family, there is that emotional aspect, the managing the household, the child, and everything, whereby the man in this case may not be around often to be able to give the support to the woman like she would want to, and that too
Mhm.
could take a toll on the woman. In that case,
And can I just,
second,
sorry to interrupt here, I just want to add that, when it comes to this feminine part or like masculine energy, this is also where it comes in. Because if a
okay,
woman spends a lot of time alone, um, I don't know, that's a stupid example. The light bulb goes off, it exploded, died. A man is either at work or whatever, you are doing it. Besides of everything that you do, and I know it's not a hard job, anyone can do it. But I know that from a man's perspective, we spoke about this. I mean, we are friends, we openly talk about it. I have my husband who can tell me that. I see it around. Even for a woman to ask a man to change a light bulb is an ego boosting for a man. Like, I'm taking care of her, I'm taking care of the
absolutely.
family, I'm doing something. You understand? So now,
All right.
changing a light bulb, I don't know, one of a sudden, I don't know, a tap broke or something. You understand? You are there alone. Like, you can't call him from job. It's just that masculinity. Then, like, you need to plan your kids' day. I'm gonna take you there. Okay, he's working, let's say, until 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. You need to then organize, because normally you leave that on a father figure, on your partner. To be the leader. How our days are gonna go, how our life is gonna go. But then automatically it falls on a woman, and this is not to bash men, oh, you are not there. But it's because the system is built like that. Because you can't have both. You have either. Because if you're at home with kids and he's the one who is working, means that he's gonna be absent. And it falls on you. And it's so hard for us to keep that femininity without that masculine energy in us if we are thrown in that on a daily basis. You get what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it takes
yeah.
very much out of us. Sorry, I
And
chipped in. I just, because I
no,
wanted to
no,
say
no.
that before,
It,
but I forgot.
it, it's okay because it seems to me that it's an illusion for us to keep telling ourselves as a society that more and more women are graduating from the university, more and more women are earning high end salary and everything. And it does, and we are surprised why that does not translate to them entering into a long-term relationship, having children and everything, even
Mm-hmm.
at the long run for the society as a whole, because almost every society, especially in the West, there is the issue of low birth rate and everything. But all of these
Yeah.
things, often when they do the discussion, they don't factor it into it. I mean, the government officials and everything that are always publishing this. Here in Italy, every year, every end of the year or every year, they give us the idea of the birth rate of the nation and everything. But this other element is what, in my opinion, is missing. And they keep asking, why are young people not going into marriage? Why are they not having children? With the things that you explained today, I wish they, as the leaders, I mean the leaders of our society, we also pinpoint this out and even not only talk about it, tell us what they are planning to do about it. You understand? So
Mm-hmm.
we can't keep pushing this illusion that most women are earning money, they are graduating university, they are opening up company and everything, but it doesn't translate to other area of our life as we would have expected to be.
No.
Of course, with your explanation now, it's also clear that look, having money alone is not enough to raise a family. You have to have a willing partner, first of all. That is a default setting that we all
Yes.
know. Then, secondly, not only will the partner be working to be able to provide because the woman most likely is going to be at home when she's having children, and then somebody has to provide for the family. At the same time, it
Mm-hmm.
takes emotional toll on the woman. So this may have been the reasons why, despite the fact that young people, especially in this case, women are working and earning more money, but they are scared of going to marriage or having children, quote and unquote. That to
Exactly.
me, that
Exactly.
to me is reasonable enough. But that is just one part of the story. Tiasha, you are a mother. You have been
Mm-hmm.
on maternity leave for quite some time, and you are going
Mm-hmm.
back to, you are planning to go back to the labor market as soon as
Mm-hmm.
possible. How do you feel about that? Taking into consideration with the way things are fast in our day, in our time, I will just use the IT industry as an example. With what I know, every three months there seems to be a new innovation in that sector. If you had been
Mm-hmm.
in that particular sector and you were away for like 6 months, 1 year, or 1 year and a half, you have to return back to that industry again as
Mm-hmm.
a mother with young children. Probably you are going to be doing lesser hours, unlike what you were doing before you went to maternity, or it depends on the arrangement of the family of that particular person. But I'm wondering, as a woman, after 1 or 2 years away from the labor market, going back to it again, do you think it's going to feel the same? It's going to be the same thing for you? What do you feel about it? I'd like to know
No.
what you think about that.
Okay, so obviously, I had a daughter before, and I was working and all of that. But she was of, let's say, by that time when I kind of settled my life and I got those hours straight and everything, she was also starting school and stuff when I got to know that I'm pregnant again. So basically I was already kind of a, with her being in school particular hours and everything, I was able to work everything out, work the way I was working, you understand, be there, exposed to the world and the labor market, um, ready for basically my career. So when I found out that I'm pregnant, obviously, as happy as you are, the first thing that comes to your mind is like, shit,
Hmm.
you're starting over. So that means you're going, and then you're gonna need to wait for a certain time again for probably 5 years before you are actually able to be again on that stage where you were before you got pregnant. So for me now, what it means, first of all, I'm gonna say it like that. I'm pissed off at the beginning to start with, the fact that I applied for 2 jobs now, and because I do have smaller kids, I was declined because obviously they're already checking how many sick days I'm gonna have. There are certain companies that do not want to employ mothers with small children. Um, I kind of accounted to return to my old work back. However, I didn't hear from them. So I don't know what's gonna be like. Maybe I need to push a little bit more. I'll see. Because at least at that place, if not anything else, they know that when I work, I don't joke. So they know me, away from me being a mother. They know me as a worker. So sometimes for me, maybe like doing steps back is gonna be a step forward, at least in my case. And I think that sometimes for certain women, it's also easier to return to your old place back because at least you left some type of an imprint. Or obviously, if you were of worker of certain nature. But I'm saying that most likely this is where the biggest challenge comes in because what to do, there are certain companies that won't understand why you need certain hours. Like they don't care. You have schools, you have nursery, you have obviously my partner, for example, my husband, he needs to work night shift because of our dynamic, because we don't have any
Mhm.
family member here. So that
Yeah.
means that if he finishes at certain time in the morning and by the time he comes home, there is only a certain time that I can start work. And then, for him, then it falls on him to do the school drop offs, and then for me to be able to finish before a school pickup
Mhm.
because there is nobody. He needs to sleep, right? He's also a human being. And it's just so unfortunate because we both cannot find a job as for the kids age right now that we would both be working during the day and that it's gonna fit around us because we have nobody to pick our child up or children now, since they're gonna be in nursery and all of that. It's just so many things. um so yeah, I mean, how do I feel? I'm happy because I feel like I need to return. I am not a type of a person who wants to be at home. This is not for me. um my character and everything, like I kind of also admittedly lost myself in a process of being a mom only. And I don't like myself like that, just being a mother, because apart from that, I'm also an individual. um I'm a person out of that. um so yeah,
You're a person,
it's
first of all. You're a person before you
yeah,
become a mother. Being a mother is
right.
a phase. You are a human
But
being.
it's just the fact that willingly or unwillingly or consciously or unconsciously you get into that spirit of you're a mother first, then when there are small children present, or even bigger ones, like a mother is a mother, like that figure, that title that we are given. It's just so hard for us to just let it go and think of ourselves, like be selfish for a moment. um so
It's
yeah.
biological. It's
Yeah,
biological, Tisha.
exactly.
It, even
I,
even
I
in
mean,
other
and then you have a
animals,
little
it
bit of a
happens.
stupid characteristics in us as well, to add on top of biology. And I completely get it. We'll always be needed. We are always that figure, mother is a mother. They always say that, and they don't say it for nothing. And
Mm-hmm.
like, obviously, once you have children, you feel that and you live for it, and it means a lot to you. But like I said, I'm excited. I hope that I'm gonna soon find something that I'm gonna be okay with it, and that also my mother part of me is not gonna feel like too selfish for what I'm doing, because regardless of whatever, I still have younger children that I'm everything apart from my husband for them. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a huge dilemma. Yes.
Your situation gives a great light into the lives of those that are in the diaspora, alone with their partner, husband, or whatever, however they choose to call
Hmm.
themselves, raising young
Yeah.
children. This is really, it's a really difficult moment for a lot of people. It's a moment that require a great deal of understanding from the two individuals, like the parents, the couple, and a great deal of negotiation, not only with yourselves, but with your employers as well. And although it is not legally accepted to be discriminated as a woman because you have younger children, but you and I know that, just like you said in your example, on a slide, they would say for one reason or the other, because you have nursing children, you are seeing nursing your children,
Hmm.
they will not accept it. That because if they will even give you a condition not to have children for a certain period of time, imagine when you have them. And this do not only happen in the labor market. In where I live here in Italy, some property owners refuses to rent their
Yeah.
property to women,
Hmm.
family, couples that still have younger children and everything. So
Hmm.
the situation is really difficult for a lot of couples or families out there. And guess what? The government every now and then continue to complain or bombard us with the news that the birth rate of our nation is very, very, very low. And that's the reason why
Hmm.
at times it pisses me off. Like there are a lot of things to factor into this thing before you encourage young people to go and be put into bed, having children just because you want
Hmm.
your population to be very, very many as they would have expected it. And considering this situation, if you especially you make reference to your former place of work, if they have to call you, you will go. And are you sure that you are going to be in the same position that you used to be? Or what if they ask you
No.
to come out, that go training all over again? Are you prepared mentally to start afresh? I mean, I'm kind of worried. Like, I read an article that says that most women, after long maternity, most women, not all, they would rather prefer not to go back to their former place of work instead of going
Uh,
to their former place of work
I
to be
I
starting afresh.
understand that, but maybe it's also because of the workplace that I was. First of all, the energy there wasn't bad for me. That's number one. Number two, my position wasn't like anything of high level. I was
Okay.
just a normal worker. So like
Hmm.
even if I go back, the only thing that I would need like is, yeah, I would need to go maybe through a week of training to catch up again because my brain, obviously, I forgot a lot of things. Um, but other than that, like I particularly in my case with the job that I was doing or like the company that I was with, I wouldn't feel like that
You have to do a lot to be able to get into the environment
yeah,
again.
yes. Now, however, let me put it like out there, right? Women that do not want to go to their places of work from before, it might also be a type of, feeling towards the workplaces. It might be also the, hours they're offering. It might be maybe, how it ended. Um, or like, based on the contracts or based on the benefits, maybe also the liking of the place prior to them getting pregnant. I think that there is a lot of factors involved. I don't think that somebody who is working in an office, I don't know, as an accountant, for example, would feel any type of a way. If you're happy with the company that you were working before you go on maternity leave, you do that, you understand. And then you
Yes.
go back, you didn't miss a lot. You're still an accountant. Especially if they are paying your maternity leave, you know that you have a place there. The company
Already.
didn't just fire you, Um, it's just sometimes just maybe I don't know, maybe two or three co-workers have changed in that time you were absent, and maybe just getting to meet new people and getting that energy co-worker vibes, which is it also obviously depends on the character, but it shouldn't be that hard if you've done friends before, or
Hmm.
like, what I mean, working
Yeah.
friends. um
Absolutely.
so I think that it's a lot of factors here involved, like was the article from America.
Yes, yes, yes. Which is a context that is way different from us. So that's the reason why. But
No, but I also want
I
to
don't
add it.
excuse me, Tasha. I don't want to underestimate the fact that something of that nature may also be happening here in Europe. Like
Which
we all
obviously,
do not work in the best of place in the world.
exactly, but just to for this American article, for example, to put it out there, women are there on maternity leave for 6 weeks, officially,
Yeah.
or 9, or it depends on the state. It's either 6 or 9. Um, that's not even 2 months altogether. And I think that there is also a reason why in America so many stay-at-home moms is actually on a rise, or like especially it was years ago. Because I know for myself, regardless of my career, regardless of how I want to be in a labor diaspora and all of that, I do not want to leave my child at the age of 6 weeks. I do not want to do that. To me, that's very inhumane for a mother and for a child.
You think so?
So I am very against that, and I hope that America is gonna wake the fuck up and do something about these women, because I feel sorry for them, honestly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. But Tiasha, I really don't even want us to make comparison like this in the sense that it is not true that despite the fact we have longer maternity whatsoever here in Europe, that women in Europe are better off than women in the United States.
I just spilled myself. Sorry, guys.
No, it doesn't matter. So we don't have data or evidence to actually prove that women in Europe are more happy and more satisfied with their job and everything than the American
No, 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 no,
counterparts.
no. I'm not even saying about that. But I think that out of that context, the statistics is the way it is. It's either
Yes.
not going back to your workplace and changing your environment completely, maybe even to reduce the hours, because if you need to go to the market
Mm-hmm.
or back to job so fast, that means that you will do anything in your possibility to either find a work closer to your home, or even like a 3 4 hour job just to do something,
Yeah.
to be then back to your child as soon as possible. That's why I said what I said, you know?
Okay.
So their situation, I think that women in general, we do as much as we can, then the life spins around the children, at
Mm-hmm.
least for some time.
Knowing the
And no,
things
it
that you
doesn't
know,
mean we are happier, but yes.
of course, no, no. Even from for career advancements and everything, American women beats European women hands down in terms of career advancement and the rest. So we are just here. There is this one thing that whenever we have discussions like this, I really want us here living in Europe to actually see beyond that mirage that we have in front of us, thinking that we are better off in certain area than compared to our counterparts across the Atlantic. It's really not so at all in any shape or form. However, knowing what you know today, Tiasha, and especially thinking of going back to work right now, is there anything that you would have recommend to your employers or to the government as a society that we should put in place to enable women to reintegrate themselves into the labor market after maternity that will
Uh,
make that process easier? I'll give you an example. There is, I think my wife as well is of that opinion. She wishes a lot of company will even practice having their company daycare and the rest, so that most women will be able to leave their child with the company daycare and be able to work instead of making sacrifice to go to one school first, then drive for another 5 or 10 miles to go your place of to your place of work and every other thing. That is her opinion. What do you think? What will you recommend to
I
the
I com-
government?
I completely agree with that, and I said that a couple of years ago. Um, However, I we also need to take something in consideration here, which is very
Okay.
important. Um, as much as I agree with that, and I would really like it to be the case, I think that it individual for each company it will is gonna be very hard for that to happen. And the reason for
Absolutely.
that behind is because we have such a long working years now, that a lot of companies now still employ majorly people of older age with adult kids. So let's say in my company alone, it was maybe like, I'll say three or four of us that were of, age of having children.
Childbearing age.
Everything
Okay.
else, yeah. So everything else was basically older or having like, kids of the age that didn't need to worry about those things, and or didn't have kids and stuff. So, for a company like I was there, for example, the nursery or, kindergarten or however you want to call it wouldn't even be an option. What it would be good is like, that's my brain working, right? You know how there are areas like where the cooperations are happening, or
Mm-hmm.
like they have companies, even like the factories and stuff where people are working, like they're
Yeah.
normally industrial areas and stuff. So what it would be cool is if these areas could combine something to suit the workers of that area, which means like if my company has only four and your company has 10, and let's say your company has one, you understand that this is the area that is going to cover and is going to be open for the hours that these companies have. Or maybe like even companies can decide, on working hours, the working spectrum, to accommodate those mothers. I was thinking that, if I was in power, imagine.
That is a great idea, but that is a great idea. But the question also is it the responsibility of the company that you work with to think about the
I
welfare
mean,
of your
it
children from
is
this
it
regard?
is it is not, but then at the same time, you have mothers working and working in the way that they know they don't need to stress out. You just gained yourself some powerful workers.
Absolutely.
So if you do not mess up with the mama bear, and you let mama bear do what mama bear knows how to do it without being worried about anything else, trust
Mm-hmm.
me, your company is well taken care of. And I'm speaking about from accountants to normal workers to CEOs to
So
whoever.
true. So true.
So,
No, no.
if you have,
There is there is a link between productivity and stress level. So you are 100% right when with that. If your workers are stressed out and everything, it will affect their productivity. And then, although why it is not practically true or expected of organizations that you work with to shoulder that responsibility of creating a daycare and everything, if they're able to do it, fine. If they're able to aggregate things together, but even using that terms to be able to aggregate these services in one area because it's an industrial area and there is that is what you have. That is why you have mayors. That is why you have local council.
yes, and you said something, and here I just want to point this out, right? If you as a company, or let's say like a chain of companies, offer some type of a comfort to your workers, that could be like stimulation, is motivation at the workplace. Like if I
Yeah.
find out there is a company now that offers me certain benefits that
Mm-hmm.
I find beneficial as a mother, for example, in my case, I wouldn't even hesitate. I would be applying. And if I apply it, I know obviously it goes for my finances, but if I come with my drive as a person that I know I am,
Yes.
I know that I can contribute part of me to that company. And at the same time, listen, CEOs and stuff like that, you all need to know that if it wasn't for the people downstairs that work beneath you, especially in the factories and stuff like that, you wouldn't have your salary as well.
That is
So
true.
sometimes we need to forget, where we are, and we need to remember where we are coming from,
That is true.
you
That is
know?
true.
So
I for the benefit of our discussion and even yes, for the defense of the CEOs and the rest too, I genuinely don't believe that they want they want to make life harder for their employees. I really believe that they would like to, especially if we agree that we live in a capitalist society. So they want you to be able to work and increase the production and
That's a
everything
topic for another day.
another day. So that's after all, that's the reason why they believe that they pay you for you to be able to do all it. And it's also an excuse for most of them not to do things of this nature. You understand? That is,
No,
by
I
the way.
completely get it. But,
Mhm.
we are hypothetically speaking what would be
Yes.
of benefit to
Benefit, yeah.
working mothers, or like mothers that are trying to get back to that labor market, or maybe, mind you, even encouraging younger generations now
To
to
even
get
think
their
of being
ass
a mother,
back.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and like it's I'm not saying we need to, like, we are, not populated. We are overpopulated. We all know that. When it comes to certain places, it's overpopulated. I get that part. But giving some comfort and giving some stability and making
Hmm.
that circle, not making that circle end somewhere,
Yeah.
but make it spin, make it make sense. Then a lot more in a system alone would align. Because if we want to admit or not, if we went, how the circle is supposed to go, to return, to give and return, and we are constantly, in that nice spiral, the comfortable spiral, we wouldn't be where we are. And even the system alone then up there would function a little bit better. Even, and I'm not speaking about us, I'm speaking for their own benefit up there wouldn't be so many people, fighting. There would be much more understanding. There would be much more support. There would be much more advices and opinions given. Like, the society could help the system. It's all in. And I know we came now from mothers to this, but it's very important because if we want to admit it or not, the fact is that without us women, even that a male president wouldn't be standing there because somebody gave birth to that man.
Yes. Especially for
So
the fact that you made mention of male presidents. My my question to you is this, Jashan. Do you think that we are serious about female empowerment? Because we
no,
seem to be very happy about using those terminology. It's a slogan and everything. People raise their fist and everything. If all these things you have explained, even from your own personal experience alone, because you're also one of the most luckiest, so at least you're even talking of a job, you want to work.
hmm
What how exactly are we how exactly are we going about this female empowerment? Because if you just encourage people to register or ask for an admission into a particular institution, but at the end of the day, you you turn them out as a product from that particular institution to be abandoned, quote and unquote, in the society like this, doesn't even make sense. Does
you're
female
asking me.
empowerment does female
Do you
empowerment
really
simply
ask?
means you are able to get into the university? Like, really, I think as a society we are really fucked up, to be very honest, because whether we agree or not, this something that affect us all in the society. You said we started from mothers to this and that, but they are all interconnected. They are
Of course.
interconnected. If a woman doesn't, a mother in particular doesn't feel at home, doesn't feel supported and everything, both by the society or whoever is around her, they will give less of themselves. And it will
hmm
it will affect the upbringing of the child or the children that they have with themselves. So no, nobody is winning in any part here. They will give less of themselves in their place of work and give less of themselves at home as well. And some
Exactly.
society like where I live here, they give some subventions, little support and everything to various families that are in low income bracket and the rest. I genuinely believe that it's not enough. I genuinely believe that it's not enough, especially if you consider the minimum wage that we have, the cost of living, the cost of renting an apartment, and everything. I continue to tell everybody or anybody that cares to listen, there is an enormous amount of poverty in our society that, out of pride or whatsoever, that we don't talk about it. Nobody, either from the government part or even from the private individual, because it is convenient for both of us for one reason or the other, but nobody really wants to talk about it. A lot of people are struggling in the society to be able to get an apartment to live and everything. And
Mhm,
most of these people are mothers that they would like to embark on their entrepreneurial journey and every other thing, but they are not able to do it. And especially
mhm,
people with foreign background as well, they are not able to go into certain sectors of the society of industry that they would have loved to because of
mhm.
one reason or the other. No tangible support that we even encourage them to be able to go into that sector. So but these people live in our society. And I was telling a friend last week Sunday when we were having very civil discussion of this nature. I was telling them, look, I think it is high time we learn to ask the right question. We I'm tired of talking about what is not working in this society. I want us to start asking what exactly work, where can we go? But we sat down trying to come up with 10 point list of things and everything. It is practically difficult for most people. Most people in the country that I live here, they just want to go to work and come back, which is also a good thing. But a society cannot go further or go forward that much if female empowerment, entrepreneurial skills, and everything are not be taught, and giving the possibility for them to practice it as well. Because being taught is one, being able to practice this is another thing entirely. When
Mhm.
after we have been bombarded that most women, most college students are women and everything, but the economy, which in my opinion is supposed to reflect in our personal life, I am not saying it, and I am asking, what sort of empowerment is this really? Especially listening to your experience, listening, which is a representation of even other women are in a situation that are more precarious than your own. So I am
Yeah.
asking, what exactly do we mean with female empowerment? Who are we empowering, really?
You're asking the wrong one. I told you about that.
Who
It's
are we?
yeah,
It's a
they're
job.
empowering women, but I don't know which type of women. I really don't know. I never understood these movements myself. Um, and I'm a woman, yet alone, like you looking at it from a man's perspective.
Yes.
So if I, as a woman, don't understand it, how can you? It is very confusing to me. But I don't know. I don't know what we are empowered to do. Like at the same time, like I feel with this empowerment is, support of being mothers, understanding that aspect of our life, support of being like even developing girls, having certain rights and all of that. Uh, I don't know, empowering us, to strive for education, empowering us to, I don't know, be independent, empowering us to be financially independent, empowering us to actually adopt a pure masculinity energy now. Because I feel like all of this empowerment is there just to bash men. Because I don't feel
Agreed.
like there is no empowerment such as like that I would pinpoint now and say, yeah, this was made for women, for their benefits, for their good. Like you can actually feel that what they are doing with this empowering, that it's really good for women. Because listen to this, if it was good for women, then it's gonna be jobs made for women. who would understand. Because if I'm saying jobs, because we are talking about initial
Yes.
feministic movement, right? When it was all about these votes and working rights. So if it was about this new era type of movement now and empowerment and sisterhoods and stuff, there's gonna be a women CEO somewhere establishing a chain of companies built for women who are, in a diaspora of being mothers and career driven individuals. It didn't happen, and it will never happen. And I would be the first one who would also refuse to work there, to be honest, because I'm not working with bunch of crazy women. I am not. But that's a topic for another day. I'm just saying that it doesn't make sense to me as a woman as well. And I wish that I had answers for you, and whoever is watching, listening to us now is gonna come across this later. I don't know. It's all
Yeah.
bunch of bullshit. In a way, I wish that we went in a system that feminist movement wouldn't even happen in history. To be very honest, because with that, let me put it out there. If a world evolved based on that, we need to forget about what we know today, okay? And how we see that it evolved. So also you will need to now erase all of that now out and think from the
Mhm.
perspective that I'm gonna now place you with. You had women who most of all submit to their men. Second of all, men were leaders. And when I say leaders, I mean leaders. There was no depression and hard work when it came to women raising their children and family and taking care of households. A man went to work, he had his social life, he made money, he took care of his family. Now, if we modernize this, I'm not saying that women, this submission and all of that, I'm not bashing anyone down. I'm just saying if we stuck to the same thing, and even if let's say, the cost of living went up, which means that if men are out there and are doing that, then provide them with a fucking good money, right? So I assume that the salaries, even in the system like that, if we go with the cost of living and certain things, men would be there. They would still have that fucking respect because they would earn it. Being men, being providers, being protectors, being leaders, being much more of that. And there would be
Mhm.
women who would be less depressed, still be able to have social lives because kids would go to school. They would take them to school. They would have them time to take care of the family, household, and stuff, and also have some hangouts with the friends. If not anything, I don't know. Come to my place. We're gonna drink coffee. We're gonna socialize. We're gonna talk about our kids, our life, blah blah blah. And there would be much less stress about working women in diaspora like that, or mothers, or how to fight with that, because it would be much more understanding, because we would all be in the same shit. We would all know how it is. We would all be able to be that support for each other. So yeah, like, I don't even know why that movement started. And don't get me wrong, I'm the one now with my character and everything we're saying that I want to go back to work because, you know, uh, this working from home or being a stay-at-home mom is not for me. Yes, but I believe that if I was born in the system and not knowing anything else, I wouldn't even thinking like that. And other people that are thinking like me wouldn't be thinking like that, which means that I would have a less stressful life because as a women that we are today and the stuff that we need to take care of, and again, this is not generalizing it, this is a pure fact. The way we are, because even like, how they say behind every successful man there is a woman.
Yeah.
And I stand by that and I say, It's not just, if you go in a life of a woman, let's say a stay-at-home mother, right, or working from home mother.
Mm-hmm.
You have a husband who goes out, who goes to, to that societal type of earning money, goes there, she's there, she'll wash his clothes, she'll iron his clothes for him to be presented, right? She will probably make him lunch, and I don't know if he has two breaks, maybe even two meals for him to take if they don't have their own eatery there, right? Apart from that, she's gonna take care of the whole household. That goes washing the dishes, making sure that it's clean, making sure that the kids are provided, all of that, whatever it comes. Then there is her making sure that apart from being a mother, she also remains attractive to her man. You understand? She's there
Okay.
taking care of herself, that she's not fucked up at the end of the day, and can't even go to take shower. You understand? And thinking about going to work then and be there and maybe having a fucked up boss who's gonna be fucking her up with the emotional human being she is, bringing that home, because she might, trust me, there is barely a woman that I could pinpoint out now and say she's the woman that goes to work, leaves the work stuff at work, and comes home and pretends nothing ever happened. It's literally impossible. If somebody's gonna tell me I am that person, please come and speak to me, come forward, because I know for a fact that even me being a strong character of a woman that I am, I couldn't leave the work problems where they belong. I brought every shit in my head home. And then my shit, the shit from my husband, bam, this happened, bam, in my head, analyzing it, trying to find a solution for him. My kid got the problem in school, bam, I'm analyzing it, how the fuck should I solve that problem? I have my shit going on. Fuck, I need to analyze that shit to find out what am I gonna do? How am I gonna proceed? Then I'm analyzing how many washing machines I need to do at the same time. The ironing board, where the fuck did I put it the last time? Because I knew that I wanted to find a better space for it. I don't know where the fuck I put it. This is like, I'm telling you, Pedro, this is 1 second of thoughts in women's head. And trust me, if we worked not worked, if we stayed at home and be what we were supposed to be from the very beginning, not slaves of men, but the carers for men and the family, and being that structure there that kids needed and a husband needed from certain perspective, then we wouldn't be where we are. That's why we have depression, we have anxiety, we have fucking ADHDs or whatever they're called, autism now. We have panic attacks, seizures, allergies, eczemas, and all that bullshit that came forward now. Why? Because we are under fucking pressure of the system, society, partners, uh, families, friends, whoever wants to come forward can bash the shit on you just like that. And you, as a woman, because we are speaking today, about women, you have to take it. And then have men there saying, "Oh, my woman is strong." Oh, fuck that. Yeah, we are. Sometimes I ask, even in my case, for example, fuck, am I made of steel? Because if you just like go back to what you've done in a week with your brain only, my God, we deserve a fucking medal. I'm telling you.
You
So
all
yeah.
have the medal already. You all have the medal already. The thing is that I said earlier on, I it still baffles me how come that women live longer than men. I'm genuinely, I'm telling you, my journey, it worries me, not in a negative form. Like I'm surprised, I'm baffled. I'm like, how is that possible? Because knowing the way you guys process things and everything, I'm really curious. I wish, is it God I'm going to ask or nature? I wish I have someone that I can ask. How come? Because there are
It's just
things,
an example. This is very funny, but it's
yeah,
just a few days ago, right? A very funny example of how we are able to do either many things or how we are processing the stuff. So
yeah,
a few days ago, the situation in my house was, when my husband is on the phone, let's say to a family member, or like
mm,
they do like luckily we're in an era now where you can, video call and stuff. And, he's involved in a conversation, and then one of our kids will come and daddy, 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 daddy. and he's gonna need to say, like, the little one will need to say daddy like 10 times before he's gonna even realize that he's calling him, for example. And I'm standing there, I'm like, fuck that. What is wrong with you? You can't hear him. It's like, no, I couldn't hear him. So then it comes to this situation. Let's say my mom calls me, I'm on a camera and stuff, and I'm talking to my mom, and we are involved in a conversation. When I have
Yeah.
three mommies coming, because I have three kids, right? So there are two, because they are fighting all the time. So they come to me and mommy, mommy. So I'm talking to her at the same time. I'm answering to the kids, and
Responding
then
to
the
the
oldest one, yeah, and I'm, as I swear, and then my oldest one comes, and I just speak to her with my eyes. What she asked me something, and I'm talking, right, like I'm talking with you, but then I'm looking there and I'm giving her eye signals like yes and no and stuff. So I'm communicating, I'm doing all of that, and then he wakes up
Jesus
because
Christ.
it's his job time. So then I have like four people around me, right? And he comes and he's like, hey, have you seen my keys? And I'm talking to my mom, and I'm explaining. So I'm talking to her in my language, right? And we are involved in a conversation, and then in between, the words of English are directed to him where his keys are. and
Wow.
and it was only when I put the phone down, when I realized what just happened, because I was so tired after that. It's like, what the fuck did I just do? you
Unbelievable.
know
Miracles.
and
Simply miracle.
I'm saying this
Nothing short
because
of miracle.
honestly, no, but it's also very funny because there is a time then when I don't know, I drift off with my brain. So I'm
Hmm.
gonna be like, this happens when my kids are asleep. That's my time.
Yeah.
You know, when that, I call it USA time comes. When Tiasha is chilling, when her brain is like disconnecting, this children, mommies, and all of that. And then if I have a late night phone call with my mom, and I'm there, and I'm involved in it, all that I care is about the conversation that I have with her. Then if he's gonna come and ask me something, I don't even hear him. And that was, I think it was yesterday or 2 nights ago. Um, no, it was yesterday because yeah, he went a little bit later to job than he normally goes, so the kids were already asleep, and I'm involved in my conversation with mom, and he says goodbye to me, and I didn't even hear him. It was only when he was standing by the door and he said, "Wow," because I he thought that I'm ignoring him, and I was like, "I'm so sorry." Like my brain, I is like a switch. Think my kids are asleep. I don't need to think about million of things anymore. It's so funny how we function, and I hope that there is anyone right now there that can confirm that I'm not some type of a crazy woman, but that's really happening to us. No
No,
joke.
no, no.
Oh
I
my
was the
god.
one I told you that I marvel at the creature, women, quote and unquote, with the way you are able to multitask and everything. I only do one thing at a time. I'm not ashamed to say it or anything. I only do one thing at a time. Then after this one, then I move to the other one. Doing a lot of things at a time, honestly, it's not part of me. That's one. And secondly, I am not that way. No, to be honest, I'm just being honest with you. So that's what. And apart in all of this, you will worry about the things that don't worry
Yeah.
about them right now. Like it's not necessary right now. You worry about what is to come, what is now,
Hmm.
and what is past. I'm like,
Hmm.
what the fuck is going
Hmm.
on? And
Hmm.
nature made it this way too. You still have to live longer than me. I don't even think half of the shit that you think about. Here I am. So
It's honestly, it's
it's a
it's really
crazy thing,
baffling
man.
when you sit down and you think, like, even I know what I said, like, I'm still analyzing it now. Fuck,
Yeah.
Yasha, that's really happening. Like, how can you do all that? And now you saying that you don't understand that. I'm even questioning now, how the fuck am I even capable as a woman to do something like that? But yeah,
I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you do that,
I
believe
don't
me.
I don't know either. I don't know.
Look,
But
Tiasha.
that's why I said the other day, right, when we were talking, even
Hmm.
though when I have me time, then I go and I research, stuff when, other
Yes.
things. because I have time. So that's my bedtime normally. And then I waste my sleep on that because I'm so eager to know. So I have
Yeah.
an extra problem aside of all of that, you know?
Your
Like,
your curiosity taking you here and there.
yeah, yeah.
Well, look, while you were talking, you made reference to the idea of bringing work problem back to the house. And
Hmm.
do you think, as a woman, here, because we are just saying woman now because we are talking about women, but do you think that could affect the family dynamic?
Often, I mean, I think that it also depends on the individual. How are you able to process those things?
Yeah.
Um, there are certain things that maybe you took personal or too emotional and might affect you,
Mm-hmm.
but you are very good at, dividing those emotions from your family's emotions and whatever it involves. So I think that, I can't generalize that as such. I really think that it depends on the individual how you take it. But
Mm,
I'm almost for certain to say that at least 90% of women, because we are emotional human beings, whatever problem we have, we
take
do
that
bring
work
it home.
problem back home. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
that's true. That's true. And that's something we as couples, I mean, as parents and everything, should take into consideration for anybody that is listening to us. I think it is very, very important that we are able, when possible, separate our job and our home together. But the thing is that it is not easy to practice. Not very many of us can do it. Let us
No.
not pretend to each other. The fact is that every one of us at any given point in time, we do sit down and manage to think at. So even when they say most people don't think, but at times, especially things that interest us, and we don't remember the beautiful ones, we remember the negative one. How I spoke to
Hmm.
my colleague and he or she responded this way and everything. These are some of the things that
Hmm.
we all work, we all interact with people. I could have
Hmm.
responded this way. God damn it, I made a mistake. I don't know why I didn't say this way to him or her and all those stuff. We all do it.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then we could be present with our loved ones and be absent due to our interaction and everything we did at work during the day.
Hmm.
So
And this
do your
and this
best
is
not to let
where
it destroy your family.
um,
Anyone
uh,
listening to us,
e-
do your best not to let it destroy your family. It does
this
happen.
is very important because uh, we women, based on how we are thinking and what is happening in our brain,
Mm,
cannot understand you men, and vice versa in this case. Uh,
yes.
like sometimes, and I will encourage this now, everyone who is listening, and this goes for the male population now. When you have your wife and she gets frustrated with something, whether you being home late, whether you not, I don't know, picking up your socks and throwing them in the laundry basket, or I don't know, maybe applying a wrong cream, or after shower lotion on your kid after showering, or I don't know, or turning the nappy wrong side, or stupid things. When a woman gets like in that upsetting mode, please, first thing, remember, it's not because of you, right? She has certain things in her head that are structured like that and expects it to be done because she just wants it done that way. And there is nothing wrong with that, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
And second thing, I would like to tell you guys, when you see your woman frustrated for whatever reason, maybe even wants to slam the door in your face, maybe wants to just find something, she's looking for affirmation, confirmation at that moment. Please, guys, just do that. And I'm telling you, you're going to solve the fucking world. When all of these heated moments are happening, she's at her worst and lowest, and she's losing her fucking mind. The brain cells are fighting with each other. She doesn't know where to turn, where to process.
Yeah.
Don't leave her alone. Don't say she's gonna cool down. Please go and hug her and tell her that you got her. Trust me, you're gonna save not just your fucking marriage, but the whole world.
That's a
And
lovely
I'm not,
word.
yeah, no, seriously, because I'm putting this out there because I see a lot of times men do, a woman is a strong woman, a strong individual. She's gonna take many things apart from her emotional side. Like even
Hmm.
when the woman is crying, she's basically not crying because like, just because of the weakness. Know that that's the time she's recharging, right? She's gonna put that shit out and she's gonna be recharging. And if she's gonna cry 2 hours, be careful because she's gonna fucking recharge. Because when those tears dry, she's back to being a lioness
That's true.
and more determined and stronger minded, trust me. And you are not gonna win that fight for whatever stupid small thing you think she was fighting for. The thing is that we have so many big things and small things in our brain and we are analyzing everything that then a small thing, just small thing is needed to throw that balance out and we will flip. Now add to this the tiredness because our brain gets overstimulated. It gets too much. It's so many. Imagine you have kids calling you mommy, 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 crying. The lunch is burning, the washing machine sound, the TV sound, that fucking Coco Melon the kids are watching, for example. You understand? You
Yes.
hear the neighbors banging the door. You hear, I don't know, your kid just, I don't know, threw a toy, for example. You then you have a husband asking you where his fucking keys are. You understand? Like you don't have a particular place you put them all the time. Or if you don't, start having it. It's just that you have so many people depending on you, on your strength, that it gets too much. So then, yes, a dirty sock on the floor next to a laundry basket is gonna piss me off. And it's not that we are looking for trouble, it's not that we are looking for drama. Not at all. We're just so overstimulated because now, apart from everything that is going on, we need to pick a fucking sock. And that's enough for us. You get me?
Yeah. I
So
get
when
you
this
quite
is
right.
happening, you go and you hug your wife and just tell her just those words, I got you.
Look.
And if she's gonna start crying, let her cry. Don't tell her she's overly dramatic. Please recharge her. You're gonna have your moment back. That's all.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Especially the use of that word overly dramatic. I'm learning not to use it anymore. I'm not perfect. I do it. I am learning
Yeah,
not to
don't.
use it anymore. I'm learning not to use it anymore,
When my
which is
husband tells me that I'm being overly dramatic, he gets overly dramatic then. So don't fucking ask for it.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. In case of you get what you ask for.
Yeah. Don't be asking what you don't want. That's all I'm saying. I often tell,
Okay.
like, I was like, you said what? You're dramatic. You called for it. Now you're gonna get dramatic. Oh, don't play with the dragon,
Then,
man.
oh
Don't.
my God. Oh my God. Guada, listening to you, I think there are I have three questions in conclusion before we call it a day. One of them is that it seems to me that you agree or you will agree that women were better off before they choose the idea of officially or unofficially, I don't know when officially became official, going into the workplace the same way men do. I
Uh,
mean, taking into consideration the things
short
you
answer
explained.
is yes. Short answer is yes. Definitely.
My problem with that is this: how, knowing what we know today, the world that we live in and everything, how will a woman be able to guarantee her financial independence then if she doesn't work?
Where did financial independence come from? From her being in the workspace. So if that
Yeah.
was the case, we wouldn't even know that. That's why I said when I said before that we need to erase what we know now and go from the beginning. There is no such thing as financial independence. Today in this modern strong world and whatever, listen, I'm the first one who is gonna say it. I being independent financially and stuff is what I'm striving for. But if I grew up in the time when we didn't know that,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't know that. I couldn't even strive for it. I couldn't fight for it. I just said what I said based on, unless we have the system that is working around us, being that we are in a working labor now. I mean, ugh, in the labor market. You understand? Uh, if the system then worked around with us, because sometimes it feels like freedom of speech, but then we are always checked what we are saying.
Yes.
The
Our
same is what I feel with that. Like you can do it, but we gonna, you know, put some boundaries around. There's always some type of a hurdles and challenges we are facing around it. So that's how it feels. Like a
you know,
freedom of speech that is not a freedom of speech.
yes, it's this is one of the reasons why I asked the question that I asked earlier on: if female empowerment is really a thing or an illusion. Because if after all is said and done, the quotas and everything in which people are being put in places that, okay, let's say now they want to be in there and everything, fine. If the end result is still not leading to that empowerment and satisfaction like they themselves will want it, will it not have been right to change a course? How okay, how will you define what a female empowerment would be like, knowing what you know today and you with the things that you just said? What will you recommend to be a form of empowerment for female, considering financial independence and everything? Because Tiasha, let's be honest, in this day and age, we can't go back to how life used to be in the
Mm,
past. It is practically not possible.
definitely,
So what will you describe,
definitely.
what will you call female empowerment then?
Like with everything that we have, what I would pinpoint to be a female empowerment,
Mm-hmm.
or what
Yes.
I would want it to be.
What you want it to be, let alone what the way it is now. We both agree. I agree as well that there is a whole lot of shortcoming concerning female empowerment, this and that. I'm not seeing any result of it. Maybe I am wrong. Maybe it has not gotten to a time of maturity for us to be able to see those evidence. But I am asking, if you had a magic wand, you can do something today
Hmm.
for us as a society. What will you
Hmm.
describe to be a female empowerment? How will you? What will you describe it to be? What will you recommend? I mean,
This is gonna be probably a little bit broader that I, or maybe you would want it to be, because I unfortunately cannot find a combined word or at least short explanation for it.
hmm,
But what I would wish for is, number one, if what we have today is what we have today and we have to go with it, then I would use women empowerment in labor, for example, being friendlier towards mothers when it comes to, let's say, maybe adjusted working hours, fair
okay,
salaries to that case. So, also the nursery is not cheap. That's why I'm saying what I'm
absolutely,
saying. Or if you have working mothers, then find some, because we are paying taxes and stuff, find some way that is going to cover the time. The state is going to cover the time of mothers being at work. So we do go to job for a purpose. You understand?
yes,
Uh, apart if we stick to labor today and family, we're gonna I'm not gonna generalize it too much, so we're gonna stick to this then. um Certain understanding that comes along with us being women, so to be like, I don't know, our monthly cycles, for example, there are some women that really suffer with them, to be more understanding there and have some benefits out of it. That's a women, because that comes with us in a package. There are some women who have their monthly cycles that cannot sit stand. They're in excruciating pain, need to go for
Mm,
injections every month and stuff. So something along those lines then as well. Obviously, pregnancy, I think from my perspective, how I see it, at least from my job, they were really understanding. There were certain things I was not allowed to do. So I hope that every companies, are respecting that matter and stuff like that. So I think that here, when it comes to me and what I know, I don't think that needs any change. But just
okay.
that, women empowerment in general, to be understanding towards what women really are and what comes along with us in a package. And I'm not saying now everything needs to adjust. I'm not saying that. That's why I said before that maybe, having companies that were made for women would be more understanding towards that. Because maybe it's not fair that, I don't know, if you are working in a mixed environment and let's say you have a monthly cycle and you need to use the toilet more often than a man. I believe that man would see that as an unfair. It's like so many breaks. You get what I mean?
Yeah,
And I understand there is some frustration around that too. So it is very difficult to establish some environment that it would be fair for both. But I do think that if we are talking about women empowerment, then something specifically for women, or let's say that it would be division of, I'm imagining, let's say, a factory, a production. I don't know why that's my first association now. Um, that would maybe have divided sectors that would accommodate both genders equally based on their needs, if that makes sense. I know that's a dream, but you asked me if I
yeah,
have a magic wand. So,
yeah, of course.
apart from that, listen, women empowerment, you know, they're empowering women, I don't know, to speak up, I guess I heard. But that's like too generalizing it now, because honestly, even if you ask now a feminist what are they empowering women to do, they don't have a fucking clue. So, yeah, that would be me, since we're talking about career and family.
Yes,
I think that when it
yes,
comes to family life, it's always on the individual how you take care of the family. So here, like when it comes to women empowerment, I don't think that, maybe a little bit more, like I said before, that men would understand that perspective, of what falls on us. Because men tend to say, for example, we have a lot on our shoulders, and nobody's disputing that. But we women then see it also from the perspective. Have you seen my brain? You have it on your shoulders. I have it in my fucking head. So it's just that mutual understandings in the systems environment, in partnership environment, and I think that we would win.
that's a great one.
Hopefully.
No, it's interesting the things that you've said, and I hope in the future we're able to do this. And my in conclusion,
Look
the
at
other
you.
question,
I don't know what
yeah.
happened to you in 2025, but the positivity this year in you. Hey.
Yeah, I'm trying, I'm doing my best. We all agree. Look, we agreed the other time. I think I think that was the last show of the year, if I'm not mistaken. We are not going to take advice from anybody that those people are not applying for their cell phone. So
No, that's true.
uh,
That's true.
because this advice that you give, this suggestion is something that comes from your heart and you would like to see the future that way, I agree with you. Otherwise, if I do not agree, I will let you know straight up, without a problem at all. The other problem, the other thing, the other question that I would like to ask is that, you know, in our discussion, you use the word if men will understand, if men will understand, if men will understand. I genuinely do not
Mhm.
think that this burden should be on the shoulder of men because we both share this world together. And believe me, even though most women we don't want to agree, men move mountains for things to be okay and convenient for the women in their life, which is women in general. Otherwise we end up fighting ourselves as genders and everything. And just another thing I want to make clear that most people tend to forget, whether we agree or not, men and women have always collaborated together to move the society forward. There has never been, even for the sake of argument, or maybe one may have conceptualized one idea and make it look like men were the problem. Historically, if I had to go through things, if I had to start using one example after the other, there was a time in a discussion some time ago, I even had to tell you, or mean anybody that cares to know, even the name of the country that I come from today was given by the side chick of the colonial governor then in my country. So I know
Mhm.
how men, historically, how men and women have collaborated together. Even when we say women enter the workforce officially, women have always worked, whether they were paid for the work or not. It's a different discussion entirely. And if we are talking about payment, let's concentrate on that. So that's the reason why I'm confused about women empowerment and especially financial independence. Say I like money now. So I I stress I stress that too because I don't think it's a joyful thing for one to be at their old age and they have little or no pension to be able to survive. Because even when we say
Absolutely.
family, 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 imagine those that are not able to bear children and they don't have close by relatives and everything. So that's the
Yeah.
reason why I said earlier on, we should be able to construct our society in a way whereby whether you have large or extended family or not, you should still be able to live your life, no matter how it is. But
Absolutely.
let me
But
give you,
can I
okay,
just add here, please?
tell me before I
I
ask you the
know
question.
um what I meant with men should understand, it was not meant in a negative way, as maybe feminists and stuff would be putting in your face. What I
Mm,
meant with that was, when I was talking, for example, before, and I said, when a woman has a meltdown, a lot of men, because you are not emotional, you don't know what is going on, you don't understand how overstimulated brain really works.
yes.
um, Meaning that, when that meltdown comes, or like, I don't know, she's gonna slam the door in your face, or like just raise her voice out of frustration.
Mm-hmm.
This type of, man,
Okay.
she
Okay.
she had a rough day, you know
Yes.
because apart from everything that is going on, this is like the you our husbands, partners, boyfriends, whatever you are in a society to your woman, are everything to us, whether we want to admit it or we say it out loud or not. That's a entirely different story,
Yes. Of course.
right?
Of
The
course.
fact is that we need men to be for us, and we need to lead. I mean, we need to be led, and we need that structure, because regardless of how we are, women nowadays still want, men, dominant ones, the ones that stand for themselves. It's always been attractive, no matter what we say, financially independent, whatever. We always wanted that structure in our house, right? But if we women, let's say, and forget about this feminist please for a moment, if we women understand the patriarchy, and the, how all of this goes, because we do deep inside, all of us, we are there for you to guide us. We are there for you, I mean, to be what you are meant to be. But we women, we are to you that caring and loving and supportive structure, nurturing from other perspective, bringing that, 90% of emotional part that you are lacking into you,
Yes,
creating you in a human being, in a family man, providing you home and everything. So when
absolutely.
that chip just breaks a little bit inside us, and when we can't anymore, just that part of understanding, because if we understand that you come tired from job that you were fighting for there, providing for a family and stuff, and we understand that you feel to put your legs on, I don't know, on a centerpiece table there on a couch, you understand, and turn on your football and stuff. If we can get that, then mm, that our meltdown should be understood as well. This is what I
Absolutely.
meant with what I said.
No problem. It's understandable. And I said I for one am doing my best to tone down on the idea of on that my tendency of saying you are being over dramatic and the rest. I wish I could actually expunge it
Hmm.
completely out of my vocabulary, but I'm a work in the process. Let's see how it goes. That's to at least to wash my dirty linen out there in the public. I'm a work in progress, so let's see how it goes. Then, Tiasha, really, a lot of women are in high positions around the world, and I do believe that they
Hmm.
have great influence in our society. Think of Michelle Obama.
Hmm.
Think of
Then please
Man,
choose another name.
think of Madame Lagarde, Theresa May, Georgia Meloni, and a lot of other female leaders around the world. And even
Hmm.
women in business and in high places. Because honestly, I asked earlier on if you think we are really going about women empowerment genuinely. I, for one,
Hmm.
believe that what feminism has been able to do was just to beat a drum for some women that wanted high positions in the society for them to be able to attain it. It didn't care about the poor and the downtrodden. This is my criticism of feminism, and this is why personally I believe that for various reasons, if we really want me to start listing them, that even a black woman cannot be a feminist in the West. God damn it.
Hmm.
When these chips were done and everything, there was no separation of black and black man, black woman. We were all treated equally and everything. So that's a different discussion. There is no amount of convincing that anybody is going to tell me that a black woman equally benefit from what feminism, quote unquote, was supposed to be. That
It's
is
not
me
true.
any day, anytime. So,
Hmm.
with that being said, with what we know, women in high positions and everything have even gone to the presidency, leaders of industry and everything. Do you really think that women support women?
No.
Ah, Tiasha, you should. Feminists will fight you. They will hate you. You are really going to be hated by a lot of feminists.
If one thing I love in this world is being hated for telling the truth. So go
Oh
on,
my
hate on
God.
me. No, there is no support.
Yeah, but that's a
No.
problem. That is what I noticed as well because with these issues, things like women being indirectly discriminated against because they have younger children and they are not being offered a job that they are qualified for. They hardly get apartments they would have loved to because they have younger children. Anyway, this is very rampant in where I'm coming. I've seen it in people of foreign background and everything having difficulties because they have younger children. They tell you
Mhm.
openly. I don't know about the UK. I'm relating my
It's
experience
it's the
here.
same everywhere.
Good. Why don't women come out on the street? Because I'm ready to be at the forefront for that type of manifestation. That's my reasoning for asking that question was that because why don't I see solidarity as I would have loved? Okay, maybe this is me talking. As women, I've heard of safe space and everything. What do they really
Mhm.
discuss?
I was never invited.
Oh my God. Tasha, are you a woman? Really? Because again, I'm asking, what the fuck is the
Safe. Also,
empowerment
I
all
want to
about?
ask safe space for who?
Women.
Oh,
Women safe space, all summit for women, this, women in tech, women in this,
that
women
was
in that.
definitely
Like,
done. That was definitely done by a man then putting cameras around and stuff to try to study us. No, I'm just joking. I don't have a fucking clue.
okay, the only women that women support are somebody like Kamala Harris. I'm just citing an example of the last election. You are supposed to vote for Kamala Harris because it's a woman. Like, duh. Do women really support women? Who support women that are doing their best to go back to the work,
They
the
didn't
labor
go to
market again?
support Kamala because she was a woman. They went to support Kamala because they're idiots and didn't read Trump's policies or didn't understand them because lack of their fucking ability to read, and they went to vote for Kamala based on a policy they didn't understand, not because she was a fucking woman. It has nothing to do with gender. They were against Trump for
Tiasha,
what they couldn't even clarify. What?
in,
Did
in
I say too much?
conclusion, no, in conclusion, in conclusion, because before they chase us away from this Facebook, in conclusion, in, in conclusion, in conclusion, between career and family, I'm
Mhm.
just asking for your perspective. Between career and family, how will you advise a young person today? If a young person, let's say 25 years old girl, genuinely comes, pour her heart to you, tell you, look, Tiasha, despite the fact that it would have been nice for the society that I go out there and become the internationally known lawyer, attorney, solicitor, I really would like to have my family and just live a quiet life out there in the city of London. What will you advise a
Mhm.
young person between
I
career
would
and
go go with what you feel is right. This is not a decision you make overnight. This is a decision that if you feel within yourself you want to be a mom, then go be a mom. Because if you're young, think about it,
Mhm.
and let's say you are 25 and you have a child. Some of them even younger, but I'm gonna speak about
Of course,
healthy
we just
age.
choose that age range, not
Right. So you have a first child at the age of 25, and maybe you decide that this is gonna be your only child. So let's speak about that. So you consider it like that. The child is about 10 to 15 years old when they become, so to speak, independent, that you can leave them at home, which still makes you 40 years young.
yeah,
You want to advance in a career? Go for it.
go for it. Okay, which means it is possible for us really when conditions are right for us to have these two words together,
I
family
mean,
and
it is
career.
and it's not. It depends what you're striving for. But I'm saying for like an average individual, I
Yes,
just gave an example. I always, my advice to everyone is go with what feels right. You want to advance in a career, you want to be
you can
rich at
do it.
young age, for example, you want to have a good car, a house, without a loan and stuff before you have child, then go for it. Bear in mind, it might be a time, I mean, you might reach a time when it's not going to be really safe or healthy for you to bear a child. Adopt if that's the case, if you really want to
Perfect.
be a mom, you know,
Perfect.
just go with what feels right. That's it. And I love you
Well,
all no matter what.
ladies and gentlemen, that there is no other perfect note to conclude the show tonight. That's a very lovely one. Whether we agree or not, the most important thing, you do what you feel right about, what you genuinely think is the right thing for you. Choosing your career over your family, if that is what you feel is right for you, go for it.
Yeah.
Choosing your family over career, go for it, if that is what you feel is right for you. And at the same time, it is practically possible to do both. You just have to program the two in phases whereby it will
They
go
might
well with
not
your
go
life.
in a symphony, but
Mhm.
separately they might
It
work
is
for you.
possible. It is
Go get
possible.
it, girl. Go get
All
it, girl,
right.
whatever it is. For
You
now,
run the world.
peace
Remember
out
that.
from us.
Ciao. Ciao, ciao. Cheers. It was a great show. I really appreciate.